All right, everyone, welcome to the Select All podcast. You know how we do it every week. We bring up a couple bright ideas, we talk about the news, we essentially talk about everything under the sun because that's why we're named Select All Podcast. We have a lot of topics that we love to discuss. So today we have an idea that we'll be getting into, but just wanted to let you guys know and update you guys on our subscriber count. We are at 7 subscribers now, and I
Yeah.
think most of it is us, but
Yeah.
we're getting there. We're getting there. It's a slow and exactly. Um, I'm pretty sure it's most of us. It's just like our partners um and I remember I sent it to my mom just the other day,
What is this?
and this morning, right? I'm like, just check it out. Let me know. And she comes in and she's like, I liked it. I liked the video. And I was like, thank you, mom. Like, I really appreciate it.
That's
So
that's
send
funny.
it to your parents. We need the likes.
I think my mom was just like, "What is this?"
Yeah, honestly.
You don't realize I'm in there. You just be like,
Yeah, my mom be like, "Where's the skip button on this?" Like,
That's hilarious. All
uh,
right, so I have a random bright idea, guys. So let me know what you guys think. I'll present the idea. It's a very quick one, but I really think it could change how potentially it's a starting point of how interior design could probably change. So the idea is an application which is using augmented reality to and AI to basically determine where the lights go into your house. So, for example, you could pick up a phone and scan the room and say, where do the lights go? And automatically it will tell you the best positions for those lights are at these places. And you could probably have profiles like, for example, do you want this room to be dim? Do you want this room to be like very bright? What is this room going to be used for? And answering all these types of questions, it can create a profile that will determine where the lights should go so you can closely get to that profile. And I'm thinking like the AI portion will obviously kick in to be able to figure some of those things out, but it could probably be very potentially declarative to just figure out where lights should go into a room. Um, and I think that's the starting point because then you can bring in things like there's feng shui, there's different aspects of
mm,
how you want a room to be functional, and I'm essentially suggesting you're taking out interior designers um, at the end of the day. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I've never, I've never thought so much about lighting, like position where they would go. So I think it'd be very interesting to see the difference it would make, right? Like,
Right.
well,
Yeah,
go
yeah, go
ahead.
ahead.
I was interested, like not the difference the app would necessarily make, but just the difference, like thinking about it and strategizing where the lights in the room go.
Yeah. I so I have a friend who she basically their whole company is about lights, right? So shout outs to Save More Lighting. They're in BC, and they essentially on their Instagram page they figure out exactly how you should. They put out content to be able to allow you to understand where lighting should go, and they think a lot about lighting in general. And it does make a difference. Like, we don't think about it, but when you go to like a staged house or a house that has been interior designed, we always think like, oh wow, this house is so nice, and like, how did they make it? At least I do that. It looks so much better than the way the house I've laid out, right? Like, how are they getting this? And so it actually is very um what's the word I'm looking for? Very particular, or very um deliberate. That's the word I'm looking for. It is deliberate, and I think some of those things actually make a difference. Like having lighting just like a normal, like one single light in the middle of the room versus having pot lights versus having like two three lights positioned in a and what type of lights they should be, right? Makes the difference in lighting and the mood, I guess, you come in into the room, right?
Yeah, I think it would just be an app, right? I think it would be an app on somebody's phone, and I think it'd be pretty easy to monetize. All you'd have to do is just get some of these brands to sell directly through your app.
Oh
Or
shit!
no,
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
you open up
Just
your
get
own shop.
IKEA. Get a
Yeah,
sponsorship at
yeah,
IKEA.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That would be pretty cool. It just hooks into the their what they have available and their inventory system and be like, you order it. Sorry?
or you have like you just your own store, like you create become like your own inventory and stuff. It's obviously easier to not have to carry inventory and probably easier just management side, just like tap into each. But then you have like more development things there. Like let's say somebody buys two lights from two different suppliers, like
Yeah.
one's Samsung, one's LG, and then
Right. Interesting. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's like a untapped. I do know that there are apps for AR where um, you can like put a sofa in your room. So like, do
yeah,
it tonight if you guys get a chance.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you've done it, yeah. So it's like,
Well, no, no, I haven't done it, but I've heard of the concept where you could figure out
yeah,
how to organize the structure of your room using the
yeah,
app. Right?
and it's pretty cool. Like I've tried to do it, and now especially with like VR and things like that, like the goggles and Oculus, it's like if you're able to put AR capabilities in there and to kind of visualize your room and how it would look with all these things in place, that would be phenomenal, right? That'd
I think
be
that was really really cool because sure, that's like after you do it on your phone, but being able to like actually be within that experience and actually see how much room there actually is, and because
yeah,
it's one thing to see on that screen, but different to be in it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's like
Speaking,
another use case.
yeah, but thinking of that, wouldn't any of these like 3D modeling, like floor layout apps, just need to create their AR for this lighting? Like, it's the AI for this lighting portion, and then, it's
Yeah,
better to have that one app.
yeah. No, I think it's kind of like figuring out which way you kind of tackle the problem, right? Like if they have the modeling software, they're trying to target the lighting, and then you have lighting, and you're trying to target the other side, right? It's like where are you coming from, right?
Yeah, so it
Um,
would be to continue to grow and make it, try to get all like furniture to do at some point.
exactly, exactly.
How would you code something like that?
Um,
Like just from a standpoint of figuring out what like how the lighting would look if it were at different angles, and then determining the best angle for that. How does
so
that
I'll be
even come
honest,
into foot? Yeah.
no clue. Like, um, I have I have some idea, um, which is, for example, when you play games, right?
Yeah.
They actually have figured out uh, to a fairly great degree as to how lighting works, right? And
That's
so
a good point.
they have
Yeah.
lights, and they kind of position and how that works. And so you're essentially taking concepts from there and you're applying it to a real world model. So first you would have to, as you scan the room, you would have to create like a 3D model of it. And once you've created the 3D model, it's kind of applying those game concepts into that model and seeing how lighting would work in different positions in that room. And you're trying to target uh, essentially those profiles that you created before, right? And you would know, because of the 3D model, you would know where light would bounce off of, how it
Hmm.
would travel, right? You can do a lot of calculations. It's not easy by any means. I think that's very complicated math, but I think it could possibly be done.
So then, do you just tap into the APIs to in order to build something like that? Like,
I
No, so
think you probably have to
I'm not.
data, like how far does this light bulb go, and what's its like angle, how bright it is.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
but
I
how are
doubt.
you getting that data?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be challenging, because I doubt anybody has that data out there. Or if it is, it's probably like kind of technical within some kind of like manuals, right? Or
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, you probably have to go through manuals or like a textbook, and then
100%.
kind of program it yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not. I don't think there might be libraries that are already created for it, but you might be right that this
There's
information doesn't
nothing
exist.
left like untapped. Like how
Sorry.
like an API for how far light bulbs go, like different how the distance.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Um, you
Okay,
never
I
know though.
just
Yeah.
a question, like an off tangent question, but kind of similar to the topic because we brought up libraries, software libraries for those listening, not an actual library with books, but um, do people like developers simply create libraries so that other developers can use it?
Yeah.
So like the library is just created, it's like not being used in any app or anything. You just create a library so that
Yeah.
oh wow, is
Yeah.
is that like a full time job kind of thing? Like people like is that's their job to create libraries, or just people do it for fun?
They
There's a
do it for fun. They do it
no,
for
there's
mastery.
a for like well, this is a business, but they do the pictures of cars. I think going there, I think we talked about this when way back. But they do like all the images of cars, and like this is basically it's like one company that literally all these other companies use, like Uber. They get you know how it shows you the picture of the car
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
tapping into like this library or an API. I guess that's technically a library, right? So yeah,
Yeah, I would
Oh,
say
that's
that
a good point. That's a good
that's
point.
more
So
of
sorry,
a
yeah.
that's more of an API, that one. They're probably charging for it,
yeah,
but
for
libraries sometimes are free. There's a lot of open source libraries that are available for free, and they have different conditions. So some licenses are saying, okay, you can only use this library if the next software you create with it is also open source. Like you have to make it free and public and available for
Mm.
somebody else to use, right? But some licenses are like Apache version 2.0. They're saying you can do whatever you want with this code, essentially, right? Don't quote me on that. Read the license and figure it out. So this is not legal advice, but
For
you
entertainment and
can use
educational purposes only.
yeah.
bingo, and so they they essentially allow you to use it for commercial purposes as long as you attribute that their software is a part of your code and things along those lines, right? And the reason people do it is sometimes people do it on the weekends just as mastery because they feel that they want to be able to contribute to software in a different way. They do it to learn. Just the mastery aspect of it. The other aspect would be just be creating something so that other people can use, right? There is like a good feeling about, okay, I've created this thing and it's being used by like hundreds and hundreds of people, right? There's that aspect, but there's also open source software that starts off as open source, and it always meant to start off as open source but still be commercial in certain respects. So they'll give you like all the basic features for free and it's open source, but then they'll give you premium features for a fee, right? And that's how they make money and are able to maintain this code and kind of progress it forward with new features, etc.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
So it's just like the community just getting together and doing shit like that. It's
exactly.
not necessarily you're getting paid for it or you're getting any royalties. It's just I
Exactly.
see, I see,
Yeah.
I see.
And it's funny because it's like there was a huge debate in the early kind of starts of software that was being created like that, and there was two camps, and one camp was like nobody would ever write software for free, and actually one camp was um, it was hardware that was sold, software was always free, right? And people are like, who would pay for software? And then eventually people are like, oh shit, people would pay for software. And then when that started happening, the open source people were kind of saying like, yeah, we should have software that everybody creates and contributes to. And they're like, why would anybody do that? Nobody's going to do that in their free time. And now we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of libraries, probably no, sorry, even more, like thousands and thousands of libraries that are available for people to utilize for free, right? So
Yeah.
it's interesting how the world works and how it plays out. But yeah, but in other news, sometimes people are altruistic and they want to help society, and sometimes they're not. And that kind of goes towards the FTX situation that we want to talk that's been recently happening. So, Turan, do you want to kind of explain the situation? What do you know? What have you been following? Yeah, give us the kind of lowdown.
So from what I've been hearing, it seemed like FTX started off as a exchange, and then over time, what they would do is take their clients' funds, the customers' funds, which is crazy to think about, and use that. I think it was as collateral, or use it to then in another in another institution. I think it was Alameda.
Yeah, Alameda.
Alameda is the I think it's like the sister company of FTX.
Yeah,
And so
it's their hedge fund.
it's the hedge fund division, right? Yeah, Alameda Research. So I think they were involved with some sort of strategy or something. And so
Right.
client funds were used in order to, I guess, fund the strategies in that firm, which is just insane to think about, because people had no idea. And FTX was involved with some pretty big players, like in terms of sponsors and all of that. I think
Mhm.
they had I believe Steph Curry was involved, Tom Brady,
Oh,
some of the big Bitcoin or the crypto enthusiasts, like
companies.
Anthony Pompliano, the influencers.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Anthony Pompliano, he used to promote them a lot. Another guy who's a Bitcoin analyst, his name's Will Clemente on
Hmm.
Twitter. He promoted them on a few podcasts he did. It's crazy, and it's a huge firm. Kevin O'Leary was a big investor. I don't know
Right.
if you guys seen. There's a clip of him saying how he feels the safest having his money with FTX, and this was some months ago. Like he doesn't.
Jeez.
Yeah, he has no problems. It's just like, and it's the classic caption, right? That aged well. It's like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah. So a lot of big time investors and businessmen lost a lot of money with this whole fiasco that happened, and it's so weird because it's just like, so then the guy what's it, Sam Bankman Free, SBF as he's
It's
called.
horrible because I don't. I've been seeing like names all over the place, and I never remember them. Like, I thought it
Yeah,
was like, yeah,
Sam
Bankman
Bankman
Fried.
Free.
I
Yeah.
even
Freed,
listened
freed,
to the
freed.
coffee, yeah, the iced coffee hour, and I'm still on some of the older episodes, like 3 or 4 episodes like behind. And they even talk about FTX at the beginning of every episode. And
Yeah,
I see some new episodes. I'm wondering who they're like, if they're still promoting or what's going to happen on the newest
Yeah.
one. But
It's like
yeah,
FTS, great, 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 bad, 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 bad. Like it's just
yeah,
yeah.
it's
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 monster.
terrible.
crazy. It's crazy. Like there's a lot of people that did that. A lot of people promoted them. I guess maybe
Yeah.
what they offered was really good, but
Hmm.
yeah, that's essentially it in a nutshell in terms of what they were doing. They were using customer funds to as collateral, or to fund the strategies that they were doing at the other institution, Alameda Research. That's in a nutshell. That's what I know. It's probably deeper than that.
Right.
Um, but
Yeah,
yeah.
my kind of understanding was that they used it on as collateral with this FTT token or something along those
Oh
lines,
yeah, there's that too.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, Alameda Research kind of the collateral was something along the lines of FTT token was the collateral, and if the FTT token went down, they weren't able to kind of pass their debt obligations. They weren't able to pay back their debt
Mhm.
obligations if the FTT token had gone down. And Binance, I believe,
Yeah,
uh,
they
they
found that
they
out.
had they had bought a bunch
Yeah,
of FTT, and right when they realized okay what was going on, they sold all their FTT in a very public fashion, and
yeah,
that decreased the price very quickly, and people started dumping it, and therefore Alameda Research couldn't make their debt obligations, and they knew that that was going to happen, and so just shit started hitting the fan. That was like the domino effect, and then once
yeah,
that came down, Binance is like, sure, we'll buy you guys out at a very cheap price just to cover the base kind of earnings, I guess, or uh, the base portion that they needed to cover, and after that they were able to um, Then yeah, that part gets fuzzy. I don't know what happened after that. Did he just run away with the 600 million? Like what's up with this guy? Where is he right now?
No one knows. No one knows.
Okay,
I
he's
don't know.
missing. I didn't know about
Huh?
this. I didn't know about this. He's missing. I know he went with some money, but we actually can't find him. Like we don't know where he went.
600 million
He's in
was
the
stolen.
metaverse.
No,
Yeah.
600 million was stolen, right? That's what. That's
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know anything about his whereabouts or anything. He may be missing, he maybe not. I have no idea. But
yeah,
um, but essentially, what was created was a bank run. There was a bank run
yeah,
that was created because everyone wanted to get their FTT token funds out, or
yeah.
converted at least. And then FTX blocked withdrawals. Once that
Right.
started happening, they like stopped all transactions on their platform, and people's money got trapped. And now they don't have the ability to pay out people's funds, whatever
Right.
in whatever form that is, whether it's crypto or fiat. So
And that's why, and though I should do this myself, get your Bitcoin and Ethereum off the exchanges. Put it in
yeah,
like a hardware
not your
wallet or
not your keys, not your coins.
straight up, straight up. I really need to do that. I have a ledger on my desk right now, but
Yeah,
I
you
still
guys have to
haven't
do that.
used it. Yeah,
I just transferred some of mine into my ledger because I was loafing on it too. I was doing a little bit at a time, and then I just transferred all of it. Well, most of it. I have like 80% out
nice.
on the ledger.
It's
Yeah,
work.
Sorry?
So much work.
It is, and that's why the exchanges get you, right? They have
yeah,
convenience on their side. When you get your own keys, it's your own bank, right? There's a lot more responsibility, and you can't like, especially for those people who hold like, I don't know, like $80 million in like Bitcoin. They're not storing it themselves. They have other companies. They're like custodial companies who store their private keys and things along those lines, right?
yeah.
You do have to get some sort of custodian at a certain point.
But it's interesting because there was a video that came out. I haven't watched it yet. I put it on my watch later. You guys know about Glassnode, right?
No,
Uh, okay, so Glassnode is a software where you can study the on-chain data on crypto, specifically Bitcoin.
nice.
Um, so you can literally look at what is occurring within the network, and I think there's a chart out where the it shows the amount of Bitcoin. I believe it's Bitcoin, or I'm not sure if it's all the crypto, but Bitcoin that's being moved off chain and onto
Hmm.
into cold wallets,
Right.
and that has spiked. So that movement has spiked,
That
which
makes
is
sense.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, this is actually really cool. Like I'm looking at it right now.
Glassnode.
Yeah.
Yeah, Glassnode is amazing. Like, you guys should follow Checkmate. Shout out to Checkmate if he's watching this. Probably never watch this though,
You
but
never know.
but he
One day.
puts up some quality content on Bitcoin on chain analysis, and he releases a video every week. I think he
Yeah.
seems like he works for Glassnode, um, because the videos show up on Glassnode's channel.
Right.
No.
Probably.
Yeah,
I can't see most of the charts just because of the fact that you have to log in, but this is pretty cool. It does seem like the addresses are going up, active addresses.
yeah,
I do wonder how that happens actually, even on exchanges. I wonder if they create separate wallets for everybody or they essentially have one wallet where they have all the Bitcoin and all Ethereum. Like I know Coinbase came out and said that they actually hold one to one, right? Where some exchanges are saying that they do, but they actually don't. Like FTX
yeah.
apparently, I don't think they did that, and so no, clearly they were using customer
But it's
funds,
like,
which is actually so illegal. Like I didn't like.
yeah,
Why would he do that?
yeah. It's so crazy to think that he was doing that. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but on Friday there was like a flurry of emails, at least that I got from various exchanges about how they do run their practices and
Yep.
stuff, and it's like, okay,
Yep.
great, like thanks for letting me know, but how do I know like you're actually doing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Exactly.
okay,
There's no
just say it on paper, which is exactly what SBF did. He just said it on paper, but he
Everybody's gonna say,
claims, yeah, he claims that like he made a mistake. Like, really? You made a mistake? You didn't know what you're doing? Like, what?
a $600 million mistake that you benefited from, but everybody else lost on.
Uh,
That's not a mistake.
I theory when stuff like that, I think it being a mistake is even worse than you doing it intentionally,
Yeah,
right? It's like, how do you,
yeah,
that's even worse than
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's just like gross incompetence at that point. It's just like you were. That means you were just stupid. Whereas it's like at least if you weren't stupid and you were intentional about it, then
it's last
I
hope.
think
right?
he
Yeah,
put out an apology on Twitter too for it, saying how he fucked up or he messed up.
yeah.
Um, I didn't read the whole thread, but
I heard he was trying to get invested in Twitter by
oh really?
giving money to Elon Musk. Elon Musk was obviously raising money, and one of his friends, I guess, uh, said that SBF has $3 billion liquid. And he's like, and in the text, he's like, really, $3 billion liquid? Like question mark? That's insane. And so
Elon
they
Musk said that?
yeah, like he didn't say that's insane, but he said $3 billion liquid question mark, and the guy's like, yeah, like he's invested in Robinhood and all these other places, blah blah blah. I'll send you the
Oh yeah,
kind
yeah.
of I'll link it in the show notes as well. There's a bunch of these text exchanges you can read from these prominent people, which is pretty cool. It's interesting to see how they talk via text. It's
Yeah.
like billionaires just talking to each other. Like there's a text exchange between Elon Musk and Jack about Twitter and how they want to fix it pre him buying it, which was interesting. But yeah, that led to Twitter Blue, what it is right now. So yeah, Twitter Blue's been interesting. Trying to like, what are your thoughts? What do you been you brought that up earlier? So what do you think about Twitter Blue?
Well, Twitter Blue. So essentially, what they did was charge a fee to people now, a monthly fee, $8 per month is what it is for everyone and anyone to get a blue check mark.
Mm.
So he essentially leveled the playing field.
Some of the accounts people were making and like the trolling they were doing.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just gonna say, and then so people started making fake accounts. I think there was one on LeBron James where a fake account was created and he put out tweets, or the account put out tweets, not LeBron, but the account put out tweets saying how he was requesting a trade from the Los Angeles Lakers, which is the team he plays for. And yeah, like shit like
Oh
that.
my god.
Like
There was
companies
one that
were
how big
impersonated.
yeah.
Huh?
Keep going. I think maybe you're about to mention it.
No, no, no. Go ahead. I don't. I can't remember the example. Do you know the
Uh,
example?
I don't remember the company itself, but the stock actually dropped like significantly
Yep.
from a fake account.
Yeah. So what it was
It,
is
yeah.
I'm hoping we're talking about the same thing. What are you talking about, Ali?
Insulin shots or something.
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
Well,
I
well,
don't
I
remember
Which
haven't
is,
heard of this one.
how big the drop was.
I don't remember the drop either, but I heard that company came out and said or that Twitter account came out and said we're gonna drop or we're gonna increase insulin prices by a ridiculous amount, right? And everybody went up in arms. Like, why would you do this? Bernie Sanders started tweeting at him
No, they said
apparently.
Oh
Or
no
they're gonna
way!
make it free. They said they're gonna make it free. They said they're gonna
no,
make
no. Then why would the stock tank? Oh, I guess it would tank.
Yeah, it would tank because no revenue coming in, right?
Revenue. But I think it also they were saying that's a fair point. Yeah, the stock wouldn't tank if they increase their prices.
and then
Yeah,
they came out and said, uh, I forget what, but Bernie Sanders was like, if you're worried about, like, you should be worried about something else. Ah, I forget. Let's see if we
Which
can.
is insane. Like we like the fact that it had a real world impact
Yeah,
like that, which is insane. Just by the fact that people were just impersonating some of these people. Yeah, that blows my mind. I think that is a problem that he's gonna have to figure out on how to get past it.
so it was.
Because how do you verify it?
Eli Lilly. We apologize to those who have been like served a misleading message from a fake Lilly account. And then Bernie Sanders was like, let's be clear, you should be apologizing for increasing the price. Dot dot dot. Like 400%,
That's hilarious. How many percent?
1,200% since 1996 to
Yeah,
$275, while it costs you less than $10 to be manufactured.
that's insane. That is
The
insane.
inventors of insulin, I didn't know this part, sold their patents in 1923 for $1 to save lives. So I guess they
Wow.
sold it for very cheap to like make a difference.
Yeah, and then that person's like, "Thanks,
Yeah.
we're gonna make insane amounts of money on this." That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But yeah, like going back to Twitter Blue itself, it's interesting that he did that, because I think the whole point was to make it more accessible for people, level of playing field, turning it from a status symbol to what it actually should be, which is verifying an account. But I think that also backfired from the
But do you
examples you
think, or
just
do you think
shared,
he just
right?
want to make money? I think Elon just does whatever he wants.
Or it's that, or it's that.
He can sell anything, you know.
Yeah, I think it's both, right? He came in and he's thinking, okay, um, how do we make money on this, right? Uh,
Yeah,
we he has a certain amount of debt obligations. He probably has a certain amount of limits he needs to hit, otherwise they're gone, right? And he has probably a significant amount of money of his own money in there. So he's kind of like he has skin in the game, and so he's trying to make it so that how do I make sure this company doesn't die? So he comes in and he's like, all right, we need to fire all these
yeah,
people. And then he's like, oh shit, I need these people. Like, what am
yeah,
I doing? Right. And so people are trying to be hired back. But that was a rash move because he just wanted to come in and he's like, how do I make this company profitable? That was his only goal. Right.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so he's proposing, he's like, wait a minute, we have this potential revenue stream, right? People are paying
yeah.
on behind closed doors, they're paying like 15 grand for this verified check mark. I wonder if I opened it up to the public, how much they would pay, right? And he was doing like price anchoring. So he would do like $20 and
He
then
started
he's
at
like, how about eight?
1999. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
which is interesting because it's like he was like, oh, it's gonna be more expensive, and then he's like, actually, I'll just make it for 8, and then people are more enticed to kind of take that price point, right? And so he was doing that, and that was working, but a lot of people had backlash, especially the people that probably paid for their check marks. They're freaking up in arms. They're probably like,
yeah. People paid like 10, 15, 20, 25K for
how
some
much?
of those 10 to 20K for a check mark. I didn't
PayPal.
even know. No, 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 no. People, some
People.
people,
Oh, I
not
see.
PayPal. No, not
That's. I
PayPal.
was like, why would PayPal pay for that?
No, no, no.
Um,
That's what some people did. Yeah,
That's insane. And like,
yeah.
if you think about it, $8 a pop a month, that's gonna that's gonna be like we could have paid for multiple accounts. Like this is stupid for lifetimes, right? So they're
But
probably pissed off.
because I think they still would have paid for that white check mark, the new check mark that he made, like the old blue check.
He made a new check mark.
Yeah, there was
Wait,
2 check marks
oh,
now.
the grayed out one, the grayed out
Yeah,
one. Is that
exactly.
what
That's
it
like
is?
an official check mark now.
Oh
Yeah,
my god,
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
he's like
hilarious.
he's iterating as like live. He's iterating
Yeah,
live. No, but he does this like he did this with Bitcoin too when he was learning about Bitcoin. This guy just live tweeting about Bitcoin as he's learning and
yeah,
literally like causing the price to like fluctuate
yeah, exactly.
just based on his tweets. It's like
I
it's
think
just
that's why he probably bought Twitter as well. He's probably like, Twitter's made me enough money as well. From I can affect change. I can say something and have like an effect in the world just by saying
yeah.
something. And that's honestly that's what media was. You know that old quote where they say, "Never argue with a man who buys ink by the barrel." Have you heard of that quote?
No, that's a good quote.
Okay, it's a good quote because it's essentially
Yeah,
saying anybody who's kind of in the media and can write, you don't want to mess with them because they have a larger kind of reach, right? And
yeah.
so if they have a larger reach, they can affect more people, influence more people. They'll probably get their idea across versus yours. And
Whether it's right
so
or wrong.
exactly. And
Yeah,
so that's why he realized with Twitter is the only platform that has been actually fighting against these news and media corporations, because people are getting live news from the people, from the source.
Yeah.
I remember I was following, for example, like the farmers' protest in India. There was a couple of people on the ground tweeting the situation on both sides, which was very interesting because you wouldn't get that from an official news source from there, or on one side or the other, right? You won't be able to get any unbiased information. But if you start looking at Twitter accounts, you can. Same with Ukraine and Russia, right? I go to Twitter for my news for those two versus anything else.
Yeah, I only go to Twitter. Like literally the whole FTX thing. Twitter had so many threads on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And even there were podcasts that talked about it, YouTube videos. No one goes to the news anymore.
Yeah. It's a lot of bias that I feel people don't realize. Even though they might come across as, oh, we're not biased, they actually do have an agenda and they're trying to push some certain aspects. At times, I'm not saying like across the board and this is always the case, but if it's a news story that affects them, or it actually aligns with their incentives or their stakeholders that are they're in their kind of cohort, they actually do affect change via their news corporations and media, etc. But yeah, it's interesting stuff that's happening in the world, man. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Would you guys pay $8 for Twitter Blue?
I wouldn't.
No, because especially because now the Twitter, the check mark, still doesn't mean anything. He's made something like everybody was blue now is equal to not having blue. It's like you're paying for nothing. Like, yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I agree. You basically, what you are paying for is that you can let people know that I am exactly who I say I am.
Not even. Oh, because they're still verifying. Like you still have to send an ID.
I believe so.
I think
Like
so.
it wouldn't make any sense if you didn't have to send an ID. In which case, then it's like, yeah, you get a status symbol. It's kind of like getting a new theme for something, like
That's what I mean.
that downloadable content in games, like an avatar.
Like a new suit for my like Call of Duty guy or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he did release something where new accounts that are created, I guess, as of the last few days, they can't get Twitter Blue.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
So how long do they have to wait?
I have no idea.
That's funny.
Random rules. It's like, you know, when you're playing a board game with like that little kid that just makes up rules as he goes.
Yeah, live iterating,
Iterating, yeah.
iterating. That's literally
It's house rules, man.
Yeah.
Well, he does own the company. He can literally make any rule he wants now.
Yeah.
You could just like, fuck it. You need like he brings in NFTs. That would actually be a smart move, I think, if he brought in NFTs.
Well, can't you make your profile picture? Can't you use Can't you use your NFT as a profile picture?
Yeah, like they try to bring that in, but I think they should
They have.
explore that a
They
little
have.
bit further. Oh, okay. That's good
Yeah.
then. Interesting.
Yeah,
Good.
they have. I just haven't done it.
Yeah, me neither. Apparently you need to I thought it was only on Apple, so calm down, Ali, but I think it was only on Apple. I wasn't able to do it on Android. Yeah. So that was interesting.
On Twitter, so.
But yeah, this is a good episode, guys. We did talk about AR and augmented reality with the goggles and the room, as well as interior design. Always good to learn about like that situation, like in FTX and Bitcoin and things along those lines. What's happening in the field, but I hope everyone enjoyed this. We definitely did. I enjoyed this conversation. I learned a lot. We will bring this type of conversation to you guys every week, different news articles as well as bright ideas. We always love discussing ideas and dissecting them. So if you like hearing about different new ideas and how they can or they can't work, usually in my case they don't work and I just have a very raw idea and I put it out and it gets bashed. But if you guys have ideas that you want us to talk about and dissect, let us know. Put in the comments. We will put out some of the certain things that we talked about in the show notes, so you can refer to those. But yeah, until next time, take care.
Peace.
Take care.